It was like
not quite a point.
It was like no, you were counting like Obama, like it was extra slow.
Okay.
Welcome into the CHGO Bears Podcast presented by DraftKings. We love our new partner, DraftKings. Use that code CHGO when you sign up right now. We have a good show for you today. Adam Hoge, Mark Carman, and Jake Flannigan. I think you just put it up there as Jake Flannigan. It was. You ever had anyone call you Flannigan? As somebody who's always...
I didn't spell it. It was just it wasn't on air. No one ever saw it, but now you're putting it out there.
No, I didn't. I never even mentioned the graphic. You did.
Okay.
I was just saying that's how your name should be said.
I think what's important for people to know that Jake is one of the backbones of the operation here, but there is not a bigger Bears fan, I think, on the planet than this guy right over here. I mean, look at him. You got the sweatshirt, got the hat, and you're like, I guess you're angry about something today, so I can't wait to hear what you're angry about.
It's the opposite. It's happy. It's
happy
jubilation.
Angry?
I am ready to get on this subject of Bears and the positive vibes that they're on right now, and let's go.
Jake is our GM here at CHGO, and part of the power that he has is he gets to say when he gets to be on the show. So he's fired up about the Bears, and I love it because the reality is we get one of these weeks like every 4 years.
That's right.
So we don't need any buzzkills. We can be over the top this week, I think. You just enjoy it.
I mean,
Super Bowl.
We are.
Say it.
Listen.
Say it.
Super damn ass bowl. Let's go. Listen. I mean, people are talking Bears in playoffs. I'm hearing that it's out there. And I'm also hearing that, the Bears could be a dangerous playoff team with the way they play football. Start grinding out a game, make it short. All of a sudden, we've got an improving offense come late January. Next thing you know, Bears last team in, not somebody you want to face. Bears, dangerous football team, Bears.
Let's get to that in a second. Because you're now the second. I did not hear that being said, but you're now the second person since I've walked in here this morning to mention that to me. So we got to get to it. But we got big news. Big news.
Big news.
We teased it yesterday. New shirt.
That's pretty.
Has been released in the CHGO locker. This one is awesome. A new CHGO football shirt in all of its glory. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see it. Obviously, if you're listening to the podcast, please go to the CHGO locker and check it out. But it's got like this old school beast of an animal just running. Look, it's kind of like David Montgomery running behind the fullback the other night. You know what I mean? Like, it just makes you want to play old school Bear football.
It's actually falls under the umbrella of how people used to look at the Cubs. Like, the Cubs were looked at this cuddly thing, and you needed to make the Cub angrier because that would mean that the Cubs somehow would win more football games. And I think we here at CHGO clearly have taken that on. And I think you, Adam Hoge, got very involved in the design of this T-shirt. You wanted an angry bear because you want the Bears to win football games. You're trying to channel victories into the shirt.
First of all, I'm taking zero credit for it. Eric, who designs all our shirts in Denver, did a phenomenal job. He did just ask me what I thought about it, and there was one tiny, tiny, tiny tweak I made to it. I didn't make it. He made it. I just said one little thing. Otherwise, I was like, this shirt is awesome. It's going to be great. It's going to sell like crazy. I hope people check it out on the CHGO locker. Do we have the basketball one, too, or is that supposed to be Daisy?
Yeah, we can do that. Let's throw that up there.
I didn't know if that was official yet.
There it is.
This one, I love this one, too. I want this right now.
I love the smoke coming out of the nostrils there.
Is it the nostrils,
steam.
or is that in
That's
the...
steam. Yeah, it's steam coming out of the old nostrils.
Yeah.
Solid. Headband's a nice touch, too.
Oh, my God.
A lot of details.
It's so beautiful.
Luol
Wait, so we got that in a T-shirt, and is that a sweatshirt or a long-sleeve shirt?
That's the crew neck.
It's a crew. Oh, my God.
So that's exactly what I was going to say.
I'm a big crew guy.
The CHGO football T-shirt and the CHGO football crew neck there for you football fans. And then the CHGO basketball and CHGO basketball crew neck. If you're looking at allchgo.com, there in the locker, that is the way to go. And then, Carm, you just hit on it. That's exactly how the Bears started, right? The name. Because the Staleys came from Decatur, and they came up here, and they said, let's do a bigger, more ferocious cub. So they went with that, and then they went with the colors of U of I, and that's how the Staleys became the Bears.
That's great history.
History is important.
No, I mean, not really. I knew about the Decatur Staleys, and I mean, we could sit here and do a whole hour right now on Papa Bear and his brilliance and how he used to throw around nickels like they were manhole covers. I mean, but hey, you stepped up, and I love that this is all boiled into a new T-shirt, an angry bear. The Bears going into New England. You are not taking Papa Bear's record on our watch, and now we're on to Dallas, 9.5-point underdogs, going at Jerry's World, taking on Ezekiel. Don't worry about Micah Parsons. Hoge's got his grades.
Not at all. No, don't worry about Micah Parsons at all.
No, just blowing up.
Oh, I am very worried about Micah Parsons.
No, I understand.
Incredibly worried about Micah.
Yeah, as we all should be.
Hey, before we move on, check out Logan throwing us a little $5 super chat. Listening while at work. Thanks for always giving us great content.
Appreciate you, Logan. Don't get fired.
Logan, you have no idea what that super chat does for me. Thank you so much, and all of us. I feel it deep in my bones.
Okay, that was a little weird. I like what Eli said. Is that a bear? Because I thought it was Tevin Jenkins.
Same thing.
Yeah. Well played.
Tevin Jenkins' love is real now too.
Yeah, that kind of looks like 76.
Well, I did my part last night. I think I got some people.
You really did. You.
You had this. We were just talking about segment ideas, and you wanted to throw out the segment idea of just like football nerd.
Yes.
And I was like, are you just making fun of me or what? But I embrace it. I can't tell you how much I enjoyed watching the end zone angle of this Bears game. There were so many different things. But Tevin Jenkins was just like, inject all of it into me right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so just a couple things, because you just gave out my segment idea, which I would like to ask everybody in the chat. Do you want us to do a segment called Football Nerd, where football nerds like Adam break down what's going on, and we would talk about 11 personnel and 12 personnel.
That is like the fifth time you've done that in like
how
a
is
week.
that possible? How, like, this person calling me, I haven't heard from this person in 28 years. Carm, turn your phone off. That's on me. That's a loaf. It's a bad job. It's a bad job.
It's not the fault of the person
Yes,
calling
it is.
you.
Yes, it is.
It is
Yes,
you
it is.
for not having your phone up.
100%. You're exactly right. You're 100% correct, but that's a weird call to get at the same time. It's my fault, and that was a weird call to get.
I was just going to see who it was.
Yeah, no, it's fine. So I'd like to know if you would like us to do nerd football and to do like an actual breakdown of what's going on. But what you put out there, that's not nerd football.
That's meatball. I love that.
That is look at this.
Yeah.
Tevin Jenkins is kicking the shit out of someone, and it's awesome. Everybody can understand that. But I'm reading like, I'm going through a deep piece on how the Bears are figuring out their way today, and 11 personnel, 12 personnel, 21 personnel. I'm thinking, like, how many people out there actually know this stuff, care about that? But, like, we got a diehard audience of football fans, so maybe we should do a segment, Nerd Football. 1 for yes, 2 for no. 1 for yes, 2 for no.
I already put it in there. 0 for no, 1 for yes.
Okay.
And we got a lot of ones so far.
Okay.
And we got a weird hash mark from Kevin, which I think is funny.
I don't know what that even means.
I think he
I'll
made a
say
mistake.
this. I love pancakes. The only thing I maybe love more than pancakes is seeing offensive play
Waffles.
like we saw in New England, and seeing Jenkins get on it like that. It kind of goes back to what we talked about in the preseason or before the year even started. I think when Will was on, we talked about how by the end of this year we want to see an offensive line that comes together. We want to see Tevin Jenkins play with some nastiness, some Larry Borum get to that point, and we weren't sure what else was going to happen on that offensive line, but we do know Braxton Jones is doing his part, and he's only scratching the surface of how good he can be. So that excites me about what this team can be, but more importantly, what this team will develop into over the coming years.
So let me just understand here, if I may. You, and by the way, you're running this place. You're welcome on this show or any show at any point in time. But you wanted to come on today because you wanted to basically tell Bears fans how excited you are about the Bears. Is that accurate?
Sure. I mean, we were talking about the history of the Bears. This is where I found myself, Thursday before last, right? The Bears basically hit rock bottom against the Commanders. The offense couldn't have looked worse, right? I've loved this team with every fiber in my body. My grandfather and my father worked at Staley's in Decatur, all right? That's where they literally parked their cars to go into the factory where the Bears played football before they moved to Chicago. I found myself last week not really caring that much about that loss, just saying, oh, it's fine, it's a rebuild, whatever. And then what I found and what I rediscovered a little bit in this win was I think we reached the bottom, and now we're on the ascent up. And this team is showing us all the signs of what they can become, and it excites me because you saw what they just knocked out in Bill Belichick, one of the greatest coaches ever. And right, he doesn't have the roster he needs right now. They're not playing it. They don't have a quarterback. If we have a quarterback, and I say we, then Bears fans in Chicago are in a place that we have not been maybe ever before. And that's why I'm so excited and so glad to be here with you guys.
The maybe ever before, Hoge, you want to go into that? Because I actually had a very similar thought. Like, we haven't been in this position, and I just did the we thing too, but the Bears have not been in this position where they have, and maybe we're a little premature, but maybe not, an ascending young quarterback with seemingly a greater understanding by the day on how to use him that has a unique skill set, to your point, maybe ever, right?
Well, I think, yeah, and
it's it feels very over the top, but it also feels like it could be true.
I mean, as we all complain every week about how Justin Fields doesn't have enough weapons and all this stuff, the upside of it is that the best case scenario, right, for the Bears is, and it ain't gonna happen every week, which just happened with the Patriots. Okay, like. Right. The other side of this that we learned, if we're just being honest, that the Patriots aren't that good. They were overrated all week long going into this, and way too many people were giving them too much credit.
#Carm, #watch them play, #thought this was a winnable game. They were not impressive at all.
Good for you. You did pick them. You did pick the Bears to win. But the point I'm trying to get at, though, is I think there are going to be more weeks like that, though, where they play like they did, whether it's win or lose. And so you get to the point where, okay, this talk about playoffs might be a little bit premature, but it doesn't take much to be in the hunt on all those graphics that we start to see once we get to November. The reality is the NFC sucks.
Right.
It's not that crazy to potentially see a 9-8 team get in that didn't win their division. And that's right where I was in my season prediction, right around 8-9 wins. So, but that's not what I'm getting at, is even whether to get into the playoffs or not, just being in the hunt with a young quarterback who's getting better. Think about what the narrative is going to be going into the offseason. And I'm talking national narrative, not just here in Chicago. Watch out for the Bears. They have the most cap space in the league by far. It's not even close. They have all their draft picks. Right. They might even be able to acquire more. They have Justin Fields. They have basically the freedom to do and add whatever they need, which has not been the case the last 3-4 seasons. That's what's going to be the talk about this team. So I think that's where the excitement comes from that Jake's talking about.
Yeah. And what it is, too, is this. The Bears have – what we saw the other night is the Bears had the best player on the field of the 22 players playing. If the Bears have the best player on the field at the most important position – in every game over the next 10 years, they're going to win more games than they lose.
And I know you're talking about Cairo Santos right now.
He's the best special teams player as well, yeah.
Well, sure. And the fact that you shout out Cairo Santos. Congratulations.
NFC Special Teams Player of the Week.
NFC Special Teams Player of the Week. And when I saw that, I just thought about for myself, there are a lot of people in your life that you take for granted, who have been there for you, who do things for you, either back in the day or today, and they don't get a ton of credit. Cairo Santos, think about, let's rewind 2 years, 2+ years to we're never going to find a kicker, Cody Parkey. And it was a huge talking point. This dude showed up, won the job, and hasn't missed since, basically. I mean, he is an underrated part of just a solid, just rock solid Chicago Bear person that we don't have to worry about. Way to go, Cairo. Congratulations. You earned that.
I think that fits into the narrative that Adam is talking about, and I'm trying to reinforce too, is if you surround Fields with players like Santos, I know he's not playing with him, right? But he's doing his job on special teams. If you surround Fields with players like that, and then a few more people who are dynamic and do their job really well, that's what it has me on this level right now. That I haven't been on since before Parkey double doinked against the Eagles and I hit my knees. That's where I'm at today. That's why I wanted to be on. That's why I want to talk Bears, and that's what I think a lot of Bears fans are probably really excited about, because for the first time in a while we we have that hope again of what the top level can be for this team.
You want to talk about the fact that Justin Fields mentioned that they took plays from the Ravens apparently in his post-game conversation with Mark Grody.
Yeah, I think either with Grody and or with Joniak and Thayer. Regardless, he said after the game, and Grody tweeted it out, that Justin mentioned that the Bears, in their 11 days off, looked at what the Ravens did against the Patriots, and maybe they looked even further into what the Ravens are doing, and they stole designed run plays that worked. And I just think it's just so unbelievably refreshing. Like, I don't need to be a genius, and you don't have to follow my system. Let's see, who does Justin Fields look like, play like, what skill set, all that. Oh, there's this guy in Baltimore who is an MVP, and by the way, Justin is better at throwing the football than him, but he
is bigger,
and which Cole Kmet underlined, like, hey, let's use his strengths. This guy is 6'3", 230, and he can move. Let's lean into that.
That seems like the exact opposite of the coaching style that the Bears were under for the previous 4 years.
Exactly. Right? It wasn't even going to mention that part of it, but
it's a fact.
But it is a fact. This was Kmet's comment. Let's lean into our strengths. I think when you get Justin, he's a big guy. When you get someone who's 6'3", his size, and he can just fly, he's built for it. It provides a lot of advantages. And look, the Bears, before the New England game, they had 12 design runs all season long. And in the New England game alone, they had 10.
Yeah.
So they went and looked, and let's see what's working here. And the Athletic does a really good job of just breaking down different plays of what they did. They created
Nate Tice's piece.
Yeah, Nate Tice's piece. I mean,
job.
it's like, oh, that makes a whole lot of sense, and it put Fields in an advantage. And when you're putting a really good player in an advantage,
I think beyond just schematically, too, there's a mental boost there for Justin.
For sure.
That we have to pay attention to. And this is something I know I've talked about a lot, but I truly, truly believe it when I watch him play. He plays better when he's got some swag going, when he's feeling it. And that's not like a crazy statement. I think most athletes are probably that way. I think some show it a little bit more than others. But the reality is, like, we've seen him, once he starts to get a couple positive plays, okay, then the thing starts rolling. When everything's going poorly, that's when we see him play his worse, because I think he gets a little bit down in the dumps. Not surprising, perfectly okay. But the reality is, if he is, and I think he already is, one of the top 4 rushing quarterbacks in the league, just in terms of pure ability and doing it at an elite level that most can't, because he can run like Lamar Jackson. He's not quite as elusive, but he can cut and get upfield vertical just as well as Lamar Jackson can. Oh, and he's as big as Josh Allen, maybe not quite as thick to run people over, but still has that size. That's a combination you absolutely have to take advantage of. And I just go back there was a 3rd and 5 play where they're just literally, okay, 3rd and 5. Third medium's usually a toss-up. Like, are they going to get it? Are they not? They just ran the most simple QB sweep to the outside, to the left sideline. That wasn't even that hard to block up, and he just got there with the speed and went right out of bounds. I'm like, that's a gimme.
Unstoppable.
That's good for Getsy. You don't have to overthink it sometimes. And then you get little plays like that. It just gets things going, and I don't think it's a coincidence that, oh, by the way, he threw the ball better and looked better as a passer with all that going on.
Yeah, and, like, again, you don't have to be a rocket scientist, but you also have to be smart in what you're designing. So there's a combination here. I just think it's very refreshing that they're like, we've been here now 6 weeks. What have we learned? Let's sit back. Let's realize this sucks that we're 2-4. This sucks that we've lost 3 in a row. This sucks that Justin is super frustrated and is tired of getting close. How do we change this around? Well, and then you have whatever conversations they had, and they actually got somewhere. That's and then you look around the league, to your point on Josh Allen. There's another piece, little nugget in that Athletic piece or whatever. The Bills have embraced running Last year, they had a grand total of 0 sacks from 21 personnel. Here comes nerd football. So 2 running backs and 1 tight end, right? 21.
By the way, can we quickly, because people were actually asking about that. So just what that actually means is how many running backs is the first number and how many tight ends is the second number.
Right.
So 12 personnel, 1 running back, 2 tight ends. And then if you think about it, you're going to have 5. Then you can do the math on how many receivers are on the field, because it's always going to add up to 5. That's how you think about it. So 12 personnel, 1 back, 2 tight ends. How do you get to 5?
2 receivers.
James Hoge, second grade math right now, working on this stuff. You get 2 receivers, right?
Right.
11 personnel, 3 wide receivers because you have 1 back, 1 tight end. So the first number is always the running back. The second number is always the tight end. Give me some 13, baby. Let's go.
Right. And
or
or
as I've been screaming about, 22.
Yeah.
Right? 21. Give me 2 running backs out there. Well, you include the fullback, by the way, when you count that, but I'm talking about Khalil Herbert and David Montgomery on the field.
I love
So-
that. Yeah.
So, okay. And so Buffalo, 0 snaps on 1st and 2nd down 2 seasons ago with the 2-1 personnel. 2 running backs, 1 tight end.
You can say 21.
Okay. I'm just saying it for myself because I don't think anybody gets this stuff. I feel like people do this stuff and they think like everybody gets it. It's like, if you're just running, no. Most people don't know what 21 is and 12. They don't, and they shouldn't, which is why it should be explained.
Are you saying that I should explain mesh concept in the
Yes,
newsletter I
I
just
have
submitted?
no idea what that means. 0.0.
By the way, newsletter in your inbox.
Mesh, is that where the QB holds the ball in place in
That's
the
the
running
mesh
back?
point.
Oh, that's the mesh point.
Yes,
Okay.
you're right though. That's the mesh point
Sorry,
on the zone read where you
Yeah.
hold it in the
I was
belly. or you gotta
zoning
keep
out,
it- Yep.
and then I heard mesh, and I
Fair
thought,
enough. See,
okay.
buzzword right there. Mesh concept is when you have 2. Basically, you're basically running low crossers, right? And you're just trying to create a bunch of traffic in the middle of the field.
Legal traffic.
Right, and when you're running that against man coverage,
Yeah.
bam, 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 someone's going to come open.
I much better than the Matt Nagy 4 hook routes, which is his favorite 3rd and 8 play, and it's run about 6 yards.
Yeah,
That doesn't work.
I'm so glad we don't see that.
I'm just so happy that Nick Parts just wrote in about that's a lot simpler than I thought. LOL. Thanks, fellas. Thank you for being right. I think we can all be in
that
this
should
together.
that should be the football nerd segment that you want to do. It's just let's explain one thing every week.
Yeah.
I like it.
Okay.
is a good-
Okay.
great
Great
segment.
Okay. Great.
Boom. 4 yeses.
Done and done. Let me just finish the Bills thought. From the top. 0 snaps, 2 running backs, 1 tight end, 1st and 2nd down 2 seasons ago. This year, 21%. 21%. That's a huge jump. So the point that I'm trying to make here is that it looks like there's a shift going on of people being more aggressive to scheme against defenses by putting running backs in the backfield. Okay, the Bears have dynamic running backs and a dynamic quarterback, and the NFL is moving that way. So I feel like there could be advantage Bears in how things are being schemed up for what they have. And if you add in the elite wide receiver that we're getting in the offseason, come on, Ryan Poles, you're going to get this done. Yeah. Then all of a sudden, now you got a problem on your hand for the rest of the NFL.
What Justin Fields can be is a cheat code, right? It's not just that the Bears can do what the other teams in the NFL don't do as well. The Bears can be a rushing team where all these teams that are designed to do things through the air dynamically that the Bears aren't quite there yet, they can do that right now. They've proven it, right, in the first half of the season. But where Justin Fields is a cheat code and you bring these other talented people in and we have people develop, that's where things go crazy because then the Bears will be able to run the ball down the throats of the opponent and say, let's audible out. Let's go. We've got this option here. Let's go 3-4 receivers wide. We were going to take advantage of them on this play. Boom, big play, touchdown. Boom, again. And having the ability to do both, which it's so simple, I get it, but to be able to do it and execute it in that way and to have like an elite rushing quarterback but an elite throwing quarterback in a year or two from now, how is the league going to stop him?
Well, you got me thinking the reason why the Ravens didn't work in the playoffs is because once they got behind, they weren't coming back. Fields is a better throwing quarterback than Lamar. You won't necessarily be in that same predicament. If once this roster is where it needs to get to, and you have, everybody in a more comfortable place, and their talents are that much more advanced. By the way, whoever asked me why I'm dressed up today, it's just an orange Bears button down. I didn't go over the top,
Nice.
but I am going to.
I asked you
I'm
the
going
same
out
thing when I
tonight.
sat down.
What's that?
I asked you the same thing when I sat down. I was like, "Why are you all dressed up?"
I'm wearing jeans and
Yeah, I mean,
gym shoes.
I'll actually defend you a little bit. It's just a button-down shirt. It's a little.
fine.
It's.
Looks good.
I mean, it's
Actually, a really nice shirt.
Seasonal too.
Yeah.
I would call it peach.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's trick or treating could be
It's
happening.
a nice shirt.
it's from my.
I like it.
Yeah, no, it's a good shirt. It's this is custom made. That's true.
Oh.
Yeah,
dropped it. Okay.
I
You know what you need to
Damn.
go with that though? You need some shade. You need to walk over with some Shady Rays. on.
I do. You're absolutely correct.
You'd be just-
I'd be in the next level if I had that.
everybody would be looking at you as you're walking down Madison with the Shady Rays and that great peach looking
I'm
shirt.
in. I can't wait to get them.
Because Shady Rays never understood why sunglasses were so expensive. So they set out to change that. You don't have to break the bank for quality sunglasses this fall. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered. Shady Rays are premium polarized shades featuring world-class optical clarity, substantial durability, and styles catered to everyone and every lifestyle. And the best part about Shady Rays is if you're walking down the street with that peach shirt, Shady Rays on, and I don't know what happens. You're looking at your phone. You're worried about Twitter. You're doing a TikTok like Carm likes to do, and all of a sudden you run into a pole and break your Shady Rays. Oof.
Not good.
They'll replace them.
What?
Lost and broken replacements. If you lose or break your shades on day one, they told us that they will send you a brand new pair. No questions asked. Shady Rays also provides 10 meals to fight hunger in America with every order placed, and have donated over 20 million meals to date. So this is exclusively for our listeners. Shady Rays is running their deepest deal of the season. Use code CHGO for 50% off 2 or more pairs at shadyrays.com. That's right. Buy one, get one free. You can get 2 pairs for as low as $54. Redeem only at shadyrays.com, where you can find all their newest and best shades.
And you know what's great to eat when you're having your peach? This is an orange. Somebody thinks it's pink, and I'm getting a text that why are you wearing yellow? I don't see any yellow here whatsoever. But what's great when you're doing all that is to have some Greenridge Farm Chicago local meat and cheese coming down your way. Come on, Jake.
Yeah.
All natural deli meat sausages. Their famous meat sticks, perfect for tailgating, happy hour, school, lunches, in the middle of a CHGO show. Where the hell are you, Nicholas Moreano? Yes, you're right.
He's sitting in Hal's Hall right now with this bag of Greenridge Farm meat sticks that he brings there every day.
He is. And right now, when you order any 3 meat products from greenridgefarm.com, they will include a pack of meat sticks in your cart, and those meat sticks will be free simply by using the code CHGO at checkout. Greenridge Farm, simply natural meat. 2 brothers starting this company. The perfect small batch meats and cheeses coming from the timeless traditions of their European roots. I'm telling you, do this. You will not regret it in any ways. Greenridge Farm. That is just the way to get your snack and your meal on. Thank you very much.
All right.
I love greenridgefarm.com.
See, this is what you need. You need that nice shirt that's right there on your screen if you're watching on YouTube with some Shady Rays and a Greenridge Farm meat stick.
Yes.
Great source of protein.
That's the CHGO way right
And
there.
may I suggest the crew neck for perhaps, I don't know, what about November 6th, 8 a.m.?
Tailgate
Roosevelt
time.
And Michigan Avenue?
Be crew neck season there.
I think, Jake, you could speak to this if it's legal too, but I believe we have stuff for the early tailgater. We got stuff for the mid tailgater. If you get there early, isn't there like a special treat available?
Yeah. Hey, come out 8 to noon, right there at the tailgate. We're gonna have donuts, coffee for those of you there early. So be there early.
Sweet.
And then we're gonna have burgers. We're gonna have dogs, Polish sausages, Italian sausages, treats throughout the way. Games, more games than ever before. We're gonna have drinks all included into the ticket. As you can see there, there's also parking available, that option that you may want to take advantage of if you're planning to go to the game, which I know a lot of people came last time, hung out for several hours, and then walked over to the game, and it was just a great setup.
Can't wait.
So head to allchgo.com to secure your ticket today. We've got opportunities on there for not only this game, but maybe you're going to the Bears-Lions game the following Sunday. Get that one now.
Yeah, Don Burr, come on down.
And then I'm really excited about that first weekend in December when the Bears host the Packers. And if what we're talking about today and the Bears continue to head in that upward trajectory, if I can say the word correctly, then that could be a tailgate to remember for a lifetime. That's how I'm looking at it. That's a core memory.
By then, Aaron Rodgers might be retired and hanging out at the tailgate.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Could be Jordan Love versus Justin Fields.
Listen, everything's on the table here. They beat Dallas this week.
The Bears beat Dallas this week, and the Packers lose to the Bills.
Yes.
2 games up on Green Bay, right in the thick for the playoffs.
They're tied with them right now.
Right. 1 game up on Green Bay. Absolutely correct. No, that's not what I was talking about. 2 games up in the overall Packers. We're 1 game up on them now.
Sure.
Kevin,
in the
Back to the
overall
history.
wins,
Yeah.
win list, yes.
overall wins.
Yeah.
Hey, one
Bears.
quick point to what Carm was saying right before we were talking about Shady Rays and Greenridge Farms in our tailgate was Lamar Jackson and then Josh Allen and comparing the two. What's the thing that the Bills offense has done to surround Josh Allen in the last few off seasons, and what has the Ravens failed to do to help Lamar Jackson in the offense?
That's a good point.
Well, I mean, yeah, they've gotten them wide receivers, and Stephon Diggs is better than anything that the Ravens and or Bears have.
Right.
And I think that's but if you look at how things went when they were developing Josh Allen early, they did not have those pieces there. Right. He really did not have a lot of help. And then they went out at the right time once the foundation was set, once Sean McDermott had his culture put in there, then Brandon Beane said, all right, now let's go out and get Stephon Diggs. Now let's make that move to give the quarterback the help, and then that's when the Bills took off. So I think that's what you should be looking at.
I think we should pull that clip right there of Adam Hoge outlining how the Bears are about to become the Bills. Bears to the Bills. Is that too tall for you?
Bears to the Bills. Yeah, but it's going to take a couple of years. You know what I mean? Like
I don't care how long it takes.
Yeah.
That's great. In 1 year from now, if we're the Bills, or even 2 years from now, to be at the top of the NFL in 2 years, sign me up.
Yeah, you still need to get the
hell
ring,
now.
though. I do think, if I had to pick a team right now, I do think this is probably the Bills' year.
Mm-hmm.
But
You're still picking Kansas City?
But anything can happen in the playoffs, as we saw last year. No, I think the Bills. I think the Bills can beat the Chiefs this year. But we're getting ahead of ourselves there.
Especially if they host the playoff game. Right?
I mean, really, and then whoever wins that game will play the Bears.
Bears in the Super Bowl. Let's go.
Hey-o.
In Arizona.
So it's a coin flip at that point, yeah.
Right.
But the culture part, right? The Bills developed that culture. I've heard you talk about this before, and that's what we want from the Bears, right? And it seems, do you feel like the Bears are heading in that direction and doing it the right way? It's too early to find out, or what?
Well, I just think, so this gets back to the Belichick thing. Like, I think there is a respect in the league right now for what Ryan Poles and Matt Eberflus are doing. And, maybe I should just repeat what I said on the radio earlier today. And Carm, you'll probably be interested in this. So, a few years ago at a Northwestern game, okay, Ryan Pace happened to be there. He was scouting, he was just scouting the game. Bears run a bye or whatever, they had a home game, not sure.
Pause 1 second. So Lucas Patrick is going on injured reserve.
Oh, boy.
So just to get that out there before Hoge goes out. So
that's a good point.
Minimum 4-game absence when you go on injured reserves. So that's got to be that Mustipher is going to be your starting center. There's no, Pro Bowl center that's coming over to the Bears right now. Sam Mustipher.
We'll have Nick jump on here with us here later to get the updates. But
okay, so back to your radio.
Anyway, so Ryan Pace is at this game, and I'm talking to him in the press box, just about a bunch of random stuff. And I want to say this was 2018. It was right when the Bills were like starting to put in what they were doing there. Okay, and just like kind of unsolicited, he said to me, I have a lot of respect for what they're doing there. I think Brandon Beane's doing a good job. I think Sean McDermott's a good coach. I like the way they're building things there. And the point there being that, like, other teams, even if they fail to replicate it, right, can see which teams are doing things the right way, building the culture the right way, okay? So now let's fast forward to the owners' meetings this year down in Florida, and I was talking to a current NFL general manager, and we're talking about, because remember, this was just like a couple months in the polls and Eberflus being there, and just, what do you think about it? What do you think about what the Bears are doing, blah, blah, blah. And that person said to me, pay attention to how the Bills built what they built. Like, just keep that in mind as this thing unfolds this year, because I think there's going to be some similarities. And so, like, connecting those two, like, just it stuck with me, because it's like I think there was an early respect for what the Bills did that people inside the league could see before the fans and people around the public saw what the Bills eventually became. And so just to hear that early on and what the Bears are doing now, and they got a long, long way to go, it kind of gives you sort of an optimistic look, though, and a viewpoint of, oh, well, even if this doesn't look great every week, there's a belief behind the scenes that Ryan Poles, Matt Eberflus might be doing this the right way. And so then when I see Bill Belichick kind of go out of his way to embrace Flus on the field and say complimentary things to him in what was a longer than usual Bill Belichick embrace, because he's known for these icy cold handshakes when he gets his ass kicked, in big games. I don't know. I thought it was notable. I don't think it's the biggest thing in the world. I don't think it means that the Bears are, going to win Super Bowls. I think it's a positive thing that happened.
It was a very weird Belichick all Monday night.
Yeah.
Like, he was super relaxed and kind of like resigned that that's what it felt like to me, at least, that the Patriots are not winning and aren't good, and there's really no changes that we can make in the moment, and I'm not going to be yelling, and then I'm just going to hug Matt Eberflus for, I don't know, somebody should do the time mark on that one. Was it 20 seconds? It was a long time.
I don't know. I feel like maybe Bill Belichick saw flashbacks of himself in like 2004. Maybe that's what it was. A dynamic defensive coach that is in power now as a head coach and has a young quarterback.
Confirmed 6 Super Bowls.
That's right. The Bears.
Coming your way.
I mean,
all right.
To the building the team part that you're talking about, let's just underline for a second here. Kyler Gordon, what grade does he get right now? I'd say an A-. Jaquan Brisker, I'd give him an A. Velus is a D, but there's talent there. Braxton Jones for a 5th-round pick, that's an A. Dominique Robinson.
Slow down.
Slow down. This is for the season or just the 1 week?
I'm saying for what he's done. I'm not saying he's going to be an A long term. I'm just saying for what they've gotten so far. Am I wrong? Am I going too far here? A 5th-round draft pick who's
all right. No, first of all, I like Braxton Jones. I got him playing as a starter.
Sure,
he's graded out as a starter.
He's the starting left tackle. Dominic Robinson is on the field all the time and he's making plays.
He's really struggled against Washington though.
Okay, but for a 5th-round pick,
no, I think he's a great.
That's a hell of a job by him.
If you're trying to say Jaquan Brisker, Kyler Gordon, and Braxton Jones looking like pieces for the future, sure.
I'm just saying when you look at his draft, yes, it would be great if there was some outstanding receiver that was splashed in there and not what Velus has been so far. That's the big miss. But
my grades would probably be different, though. I mean, if you're talking about the whole season, value-wise, it depends on what your grading.
I'm talking value-wise. This is where he's drafting, adding picks, the whole thing. Even hey. He gets props for Trenton Gill. That was your last pick, 255th overall.
You know this guy's gonna like.
Dude's a good punter.
That's right.
It was a good pick.
We should get to my grades, by the way.
Okay, great.
This is just for this week against the Patriots.
Good.
But a lot of good play, as I mentioned yesterday on the show. Not a whole lot of red pen action going on. A lot of green marks. A lot of players ended up in the blue chip tier. Again, this is just for this week. Does not mean that they are like permanently blue chip players in the NFL. It's just how they graded out this week, and it'll all even itself out by the end of the week. But give Cairo Santos the credit, man. He's actually the top of my grades right now of the entire roster.
Which isn't great.
I'm not going to say he's as good as Justin Tucker, but he's quietly up there as one of the best kickers in the league.
Dude's rock solid, man.
He's really good. Cole Kmet.
Wow. How many times has he been in the blue chip tier?
Well,
Tell us why.
more importantly, though, Cole Kmet, I think people need to understand. Let me look at my season grade on him. He is at a high-end starter grade for this entire season at this point. He only has one game where I had a negative grade on him. That was against the Packers. I just think, and this is why I always go back to my Kyle Rudolph comp. Like, I just think people see tight end drafted second round, he needs to be like a Travis Kelce type. And it's like, that's not who he is. He has the ability to be one of the best blocking tight ends in the league. When I say that, it's like somebody you can run the ball behind, can help you in pass protection, is going to be a reliable blocker, and oh, by the way, can make that type of catch he made on the sideline 25 yards downfield when he adjusted to a ball that was actually behind him, and he made a great play. Like, so, is he going to be your best fantasy football tight end option? Probably not. But when he grades out on the film and he's consistently making key blocks on big plays and he's giving you 2 catches a week that are like on third down that move the chains, that's a good player. Yeah. That's a good player. That's a good pick in the second round.
He's also, if we're going to underline Kmet positive things, he's great in that. He's great in the locker room. He brought Fields into doing yoga. He's I just think he's a positive, good force around the team.
Great as a furniture pitch man too on a local.
I saw that.
Television. It's good, right?
Yeah, I didn't know he was doing the. He was laying there on a mattress.
Never wanted a new couch more than when I heard Cole Kmet.
Yeah,
I
can't remember the company he was doing it for, but he looked good doing it.
We'll see it again.
John M. Smith Homemakers, love that jingle.
Yeah. Hey, though you're right. The important thing I think you pointed out was this: fantasy from reality. And a lot of people play fantasy and they think, oh, well, Cole Kmet's got 2 points or 3 points. But in real life, he's helping the Bears win this week.
And look, did I think there'd be more production? Yeah, I did
Same.
too, actually. I drafted him in fantasy this year. And that hasn't necessarily come. But I'm telling you, the way the coaches are looking at this every week, they're happy with him. Let's get back to
reality.
Yeah, just who else was on that list. Justin Fields, not surprisingly, he graded out well. Roquan Smith. Equanimeous St. Brown, another guy that's just earning a lot of respect from me. That dude blocks like crazy. And unlike some of the other receivers on the team, he catches the ball when it's thrown to him. So, is he ideally probably like your third or fourth best receiver in terms of actual production? Yeah, in a perfect world, that would be the case. But he's a valuable player on your team. And then Khalil Herbert and Tevin Jenkins. Good list right there, players who play well the other night.
As far as St. Brown is concerned, he is actually now becoming a tad bit of a safety valve for Fields, which is a huge development. So, and that guy is just another rock solid. You pretty much know exactly what you are going to get from him. So, when they were redoing the team in the offseason, I am really on the positive side of the train today. But but you were looking for, you weren't going to spend a lot of money. You weren't going to give up draft picks. Who are some solid character dudes here who have some upside, and that's what they went out and got. And EQ has lived up to it. I mean, that wasn't. Getsy obviously knew him, Green Bay, the whole thing. He's not flashy, he's not great, and maybe he's not going to be here long term. But for what was out there and what they were doing, it's you can understand why they went out and got him. He's been a plus.
Yeah, and knowledge is power, right? So the intelligence in the moment to block the right person, to run the right route, to be in the right space, and then the emotional intelligence to say, this is my role on this team. And when you have a group of players like that together on your roster, then the elite players will shine, and those players will do what they can to lift and support the players that will ultimately win us games, the Bears games, week after week.
We have our first from J.R. Mayberry. First, Poles needs to re-sign EQ. There we go, EQ. You Bears fans want you back, baby.
Wow.
Hey, I like Pettis in this last game, too. I don't know if he's a high grade there, but I think he had a couple plays that were well. And you know what? He didn't have any fumbles on special teams, right?
He did.
That's important.
He picked it back up, right?
Yeah, that works. Didn't know lost fumbles, right?
Yeah.
Gets the ball.
Yeah.
I like Dante Pettis. I'm a Dante Pettis guy.
He has flashes, and then he has games like 2 games ago where he was just pretty bad. But The next tier was the long-term starter tier. A few guys ended up in there. There's your guy, Kyler Gordon. My guy, the fullback, Kari Blasingame. Braxton Jones, to your point. Justin Jones played well. Definitely your guy, Justin Jones.
Yes.
Love you, Justin. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Love to see the passion too, right? You get the turnover, you get the stop, and you hold the ball up, and you bring the team together. You run down there. I love it.
And then the only player that ended up in the bottom tier, it's always so good. It would be nice. I was wondering if we were going to have a clean slate here, but Larry Borum.
Oh, I don't like to see that.
He struggled a little bit.
It's going against an elite edge rusher, though.
Yep.
Would you say that?
Yeah.
That's fair.
No, he had a tough matchup,
Yeah.
and there were some good moments too, but he needed some help on Monday night.
There was some bad Borum moments.
It's okay though. We still believe that he can,
Do we?
improve. I do. I love Borum. I think he's got a lot of potential, but when he's got to perform better in those situations, no doubt. Like there's no excuse. I don't disagree with Adam's grade one bit.
I don't know, when you're talking about the offseason right now with where Larry's at, he sort of feels like a swing back up tackle, and
Maybe.
depending on where they invest their money, that would be my guess.
I do have him as a reserve right now with the way he's played. So still got more football.
A lot of games left.
Still got more football to figure out. So, all right. We also need to tell you about our friends at Game Time, because Game Time is the hottest new ticketing site that makes it easier than ever to score the best deals on tickets to sports, concerts, and shows. So if you've ever dreamed about sitting in a seat you never thought you could, like at the 50-yard line, courtside, I dream about sitting courtside with Carmen in a Bulls game.
Let's go.
And so we got the Game Time app. You can pull it up, take a look at what's available, and it is possible to sit in those seats with the Game Time app, because the biggest last-minute price drops can be found on the seats you thought you could never buy. You're not going to find a better deal this season. So even if you're like at our tailgate in a couple weeks, you're undecided on whether or not to go to the game, you could be at the tailgate, have your phone out and be like, all right, I'm going to look at the Game Time app. What's popping up here? What's available? And maybe there's the right deal for you. You click on it and you buy it, and boom, you're in.
Very low pressure, especially good for people like me who are non-committal in that moment. You want to maybe go, you don't know, and then you see it, you see the price. Okay, I'm going.
Hoge, you want to go tonight? Let's just take. I'll let you know what it would cost. We could go lower level, fourth row on the baseline right now. Me and you on a flash deal. Snag a flash deal. Love it. Fourth row, $140 each. That's
good experience for $140.
That's $160 under face.
We could get some CHGO, some good some time on the free throws. We could be jumping up and down like maniacs.
Yeah.
And for fourth row baseline, you're
right
you're
there
on TV.
Yeah, well, that's on the side of the court. We're not going behind the bucket. We're not doing that.
Did you say that?
I said baseline.
Yeah.
Okay.
Baseline or sideline?
I mean sideline, I guess. But that's to me,
tough moment for you, basketball guy.
To me, I'm lined up on the baseline, like I'm sitting. I'm not at the free throw line. I'm not at the center court. I'm saying we're sitting at the baseline.
Sideline, but you're
even with the basket.
Gotcha.
That's right where I sat to see LeBron hit that three in the playoffs.
Don't mention that, please.
I was there.
That was a terrible day.
Well, I'm sorry you were there.
That was the end of it. By the way, if you want to go cheap up top tonight, 42 each. I'm talking about with fees here. Game Time app. Get it done.
All right, I got some news on our guy, Equinemius St. Brown, here in a second. But first, we had a lot of fun with DraftKings Monday night. I have a lot of fun with DraftKings every week. And you can make every play feel that exciting with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. And their unbeatable offers. Right now, new customers can make any $5 NFL bet and get $200 in free bets if your team wins. Check it out. In addition to the usual bets, everyone can boost their winnings with DraftKings stepped-up same-game parlays. It's just an automatic boost based on how many legs you have in your same-game parlay. The more legs you put in there, the bigger the boost when you win. It's pretty sweet. I took advantage of it Monday night. And to make things even sweeter, you can throw down on stepped-up same-game parlays once per game day all season long. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code CHGO to get $200 in free bets if your team wins. Just place a $5 bet on any football game only at DraftKings Sportsbook using code CHGO. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details.
Real quick, Braggs is upset that he's not getting the invite for tonight's Bulls game.
I mean,
I think he's in.
Yeah,
I'm thinking about it. I mean,
Well, I'm not going, Bragg, so you can take my spot.
there you go. More importantly, Anthony, thank you for the super chat. He says, Adam, what was your grade on David Montgomery? Because I thought he played well and ran hard.
Fair point.
very fair. And Braggs,
go.
I mean, you know, we spent a lot of time together on Sundays. I don't know if we need to go midweek Bulls. That might be a lot.
Wow.
That could be just too much. I'm kidding. Let's go, buddy. You want to come to Bulls Pacers tonight? Text me. Let's do it. I'm in.
Montgomery, high-end starter. Yep.
High end, different from long term.
Yeah, this is where...
Okay.
Long-term starters suggest, like, there's a big... So, within the starter category, which is below long-term starter, you're either on the high end of that or the low end of that. Okay?
Okay.
Don't think... This is why I don't like doing it weekly. Because everyone overreacts to it, and no one... It makes way more sense when the season's over, and you're like, oh, long-term starters. People they should re-sign. If you're not in that category, you probably play like a starter, but don't know if technically want to give out $100 million, right? So
Would Roquan Smith fall in that category?
Roquan on the season is like literally right on the cusp of...
So that's why.
Yeah, that's kind of
Bulls
the problem.
is in
Same
a
way
spot.
with David Montgomery. Like, these are good players.
Yeah.
That's why there's a difference. That's exactly why there's a difference, Lawrence, because you're playing like a starter. You're a good football player, but there's a difference between that and handing out $100 million contracts. So that's why there's a difference. And then there's the blue chip, which is, you give him whatever he wants because he's that good.
Cairo Santos.
So you can do that for a game. Yeah, Cairo Santos. $100 million kicker contract. I'll be the first to do it. The thing I was going to say about Equinemius St. Brown was he's the honorary captain this week.
Wow.
And I'm already getting tweets from Adam Johns to settle down. Don't get too excited about it.
About EQ?
Yeah, because he knows I like how he blocks.
Who does?
Well, but let's underline
I like a good blocking wide receiver.
Do you?
I do.
I mean, but don't you...
Honorary captain.
What? Okay, so when Fields, it's in actually, because I watched this, it's like, okay, he's coming out of the, he's scrambling for the 100th time, and the Bears wide receivers, rather than getting open, they're immediately just turning to go block, and part of me is like, get open, like give him, but I mean, scramble drill.
You know what? I think Ryan Poles takes a lot of heat for not surrounding Fields with more from this offseason, right, as far as receivers. But one thing he did do, and Hoge, I think you could back me up on this based on what you just said, he did surround Fields and that offense and the offensive line to support them with quality blocking receivers.
Yes.
So that's a point that I don't think I've heard too much yet, but that at least we can give him some props for that.
I mean, I prefer myself quality blocking offensive linemen and receivers who can catch the ball and are elite.
That's an amazing point, and I can't wait for the moment that occurs, Lawrence. You're spot on there. But yeah, I mean, we'll just have to wait and see for that, I guess.
We're going to talk to Nick here. You guys are talking to each other in two different places, so I'll just be the middleman. He needs the voice of graphic.
Yes,
yes,
that's
and
fine.
We can't
I see
put
that
his
over
face
there.
on, so we'll talk to him
I
here
knew
in a
that.
second.
There's other news, by the way, coming out with Patrick going on the injured reserve list. Byron Pringle is going into the 21-day practice window. You get the fever for the flavor of Pringle. I haven't thought about Byron Pringle in a minute. And people are asking in the chat, like, who does he replace? I was excited about Byron Pringle at one point, and now I'm like, okay.
He could replace Velus.
I don't want him
ISM
replacing
gone
Velus.
already.
Do you?
This is I basically have no opinion on Byron Pringle.
Okay, so you're with me. The fever of the flavor of Pringle.
I never had the fever. I never had the flavor.
I mean, no.
He has speed, though.
Since he did the donut thing, will you have the fever of the flavor, or was it just before the donut thing and he had that weird press conference?
I was out on Byron Pringle when I was trying to get Andy Reid to say something nice about him at the owners' meetings, and he was just like, I was trying to get him a Pringles sponsorship deal. That's pretty much
That's
all
what he
had to
said?
say.
It's kind of deflecting.
Original
No,
Pringles?
he said he liked them and all this stuff, but then it's like, well, then why didn't you re-sign him?
Right.
It's not like he signed like a $5 million contract for 1 year.
And they had a need for a receiver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They traded Tyreek Hill like a couple days later.
Says a lot.
Yeah, it wasn't. I agreed. And for a sec, okay. I thought maybe that this guy was going to be unlocked here because there was such great receiving talent in Kansas City that maybe Ryan Pohl, since he was in Kansas City, you wouldn't bring in a guy that you know him, so you got to like something.
Yeah.
So I was optimistic on Pringle, but I have lost the Pringle optimism.
That's fair. Well,
But maybe it'll come back.
To defend myself against you and Law, if the Bears maybe have a top half or top 10 blocking receivers, blocking tight end situation, that's how you turn 5, 7, 8 yard gains into big plays.
Yeah.
You get to that second level, and that's why you're seeing a 20-yard scamper, a 30-yard.
You see 19 make a big block every week. Do we have Nick or no?
I believe so. Yeah. We'll give it a shot here. Hey, Nick, are you there?
Nicholas.
Nick, hello.
The voice
he's
of
muted.
Nicholas
I don't know.
Moreno is not coming through.
Yeah, I don't know. He's there, but he's not really
You
there.
know,
I don't
for
quite understand.
one
that.
of the most technology, like, geeky guys in the world, nobody at CHGO has more technological problems than Nicholas Moreano.
Hey, wait! You guys can hear me now. I was not. I got muted myself. I was muted on your end. I don't know how that happens, but we're good. I still think I'm one of the best in technology here, clearly. But
Well, you are. Yeah, you are. It's just
You have a very weird sound right now that is kind of entertaining to me. So keep talking, please.
Okay, I don't know why that. See, it's not me, you guys. Just the technology I use, which I don't know what's going on here. But how's it going?
You're good.
I think it sounds
Good.
fine.
Run down the news because we're a little short on time, but we want to hear everything that came out here.
Yeah, really quickly. I know Mark, you just mentioned Lucas Patrick. Matty Reflux said they're determining the extent of the injury, but he does plan to go on IR, and in replace of Lucas Patrick, they're going to move up Dieter Eastland off the practice squad and elevate him. They also, you guys mentioned Byron Pringle opened up his 21-day practice window. Really want to check out his conditioning. And the Bears also signed a wide receiver to the practice squad, Darius Fountain, who did have some familiarity with Matt Eberflus in Indianapolis. And your honorary captain of this week is going to be Equanimous. You guys are talking about his blocking. That's something that Matt Eberflus actually brought up. Watch how he blocks. You mentioned Hoge. He always has a block each game. He does. He's someone that's very committed to the run game and helping spring his teammates open. And then some other things really quickly. I asked Matt Eberflus about Velus Jones Jr. You said maybe you want to see more in the offense. I asked, is he even in consideration for punt returner right now? And what Eberflus said is, first thing is securing the football. He mentioned Dante Pettis also had a muff punt in that Monday night game. He was able to corral it, though. But they're going to put the guy that we feel best for that particular game. So, yes, no on Velus, maybe being in consideration there, but he only had 13 offensive snaps. Got to see what your third-round draft pick can do at some point, so you got to get the ball in his hands. He was also asked about Micah Parsons. What's difficult about blocking him? Quickness, intensity. The Bears know that he's going to be a handful for them all game. And then one last thing I thought was interesting after the Washington game, obviously they had the mini bye. They took a better part of one of those days to already start game planning for Dallas because they knew it was going to be a short week after this Monday night game. So Eberflus getting ahead, already game planning for Dallas.
Look at that. They can look ahead to their next opponent and still beat the crap out of the Patriots.
That's exactly right.
Take that, Belichick.
We on you, Bill. We can't wait for our next matchup with you.
So my in the Super Bowl, right? I'm kind of done with Velus Jones as the punt returner, but
Yeah,
I would give him a chance at kick returner.
Yeah.
Like, I was a little surprised they made that move because I still think he has – it's a completely different job. We talked about this before. You don't have the same pressure catching it. You still got to catch it, but it's not quite the same pressure because, you know, guys bearing down at you right away. And I think with a full head of steam, he's a different type of runner. So I would still give him that chance.
Yeah. I just don't think you forgive, but you don't forget on the punt return capabilities of Velus. But I like that point because if he does drop a kickoff return, he can pick that up and still run 100 yards.
Well, and also, what is he doing if he's not returning kicks for you? He's on the field for 5 offensive plays. That's not great. So I'd say I would use him there for sure. Agreed. And no on the punt return. No.
Yeah, guys, he's only has 18 career punt returns, and that came last, in 2021 in Tennessee. He has 122 opportunities at kick returner from USC to Tennessee. So he has far more familiarity with that aspect of it. So if there's an opportunity for him to get on special teams to be a return man, probably he's going to be at the kick return spot.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm just digesting that the one comment in it. If Velus ends up being a bust, it's still a good draft class from Bell's-Air. You're right about that Bell's-Air. I think most likely it's definitely trending that way. And let's just hope that Velus finds his way here a little bit in the offense.
Listen, give the guy. I know he's older, and that's a big critique of him. But he's not Kevin White. He's already scored a receiving touchdown. He has a receiving touchdown. Kevin White did not. He was a bust. Velus still has time. Give him some time. How many receiving touchdowns does Darnell Mooney have this year? 0. How many does Velus have? 1. Okay? So, I get it. He hasn't been great. He doesn't have a lot of opportunity, but let's not label him a bust quite yet.
They did.
We can't let that's not a receiving touchdown. It's in the stat book.
Yes,
it is.
It's a touchdown either way.
Right. That's
He
right.
flipped him the ball right in front of his 1 feet.
It doesn't matter, though, whether
he
it's
didn't beat somebody and get open.
If you thought Velus Jones was going to be catching fades in the back of the end zone, you didn't read your scouting report on Velus Jones.
I didn't think that, but Jake over here is underlining that he's got a touchdown pass to Moody. That's not really a touchdown pass. It's a handoff.
Nick, what else are you looking forward to today at Hal Saul?
Just to continue, we'll hear from Justin Fields later today. So to continue to hear him and just those design runs, obviously you guys talked about Lamar Jackson, that offense kind of stealing some plays there, but just seeing how he kind of views himself continue to do that in the offense, because clearly it opened things up for not only himself, but some of his other teammates. So just kind of hearing from him and, if he would like, and I'm sure he would, more design runs, regardless of the opponent, regardless of the defense, to be implemented in this offense moving forward. And then I think we're scheduled to talk to a few more players, and that's always a surprise each and every day at House. Also, we'll see how that goes.
Get him, Nick.
All right, Nick. Appreciate you.
All right, you guys. Have a good one.
Don't think that I didn't notice that you dodged ping pong this week.
I wanted to go.
Well,
I understand. You're working. You got things
Monday
to do.
night, we lost a day. Make sure you're following Nick on Twitter at Nicholas Moreano for all the latest from House Hall. I want to finish the show at this. It has nothing to do with the Bears, so I apologize. But Russell Wilson told reporters that he spent 4 hours working out and rehabbing on the Broncos' flight to London.
What?
He was doing high knees in the aisle while his teammates slept.
This is from our friends at DNVR. Got the scoop. Zach Stevens of DNVR got the scoop.
He did?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I love this.
Of course, DNVR has a plethora of people over in London.
You should be following our guys at DNVR. They are in London for this game, and they're already there. And apparently,
can you imagine being one of the guys sitting on the aisle trying to sleep, and you got Russ
It's just weird, man.
doing leg lifts for 4 hours?
There's 4 quarterbacks in the NFL that I'm so done with, and for various reasons over the last 6 months. Deshaun Watson, number 1. Aaron Rodgers, number 2. Now Tom Brady, for sure, number 3. And add Russell Wilson to that list. I'm so sick of that guy. He's a fake. He's a fraud. He's had a great career. He's been amazing. But his persona, I don't know. Kevin probably doesn't agree with me. But.
Sit your ass down on the plane.
Wait, I got the full quote for you. This is from Zach Stevens from DNVR. Make sure you're following him on Twitter at Zach Stevens DNVR. He says, this is Russell Wilson now, I don't really get jet lag too often. I've traveled enough to get my system down. For me, I was on the plane the first 2 hours. What is it, an 8-hour flight? The first 2 hours, I was watching film, watching all of the cut-ups and everything else. Then the next 4 hours, I was doing treatment on the plane. I was walking up and down the aisles. Everyone was knocked out. I was doing high knees and working on my legs and everything else, making sure I'm ready to rock. So that was good. And the last 2 hours, the last hour that I fell asleep for 1 hour and I watched film for the rest. I felt good to go once we got back.
I don't mind. You want to walk around on an overseas flight. I get it. Pat Fitzgerald.
But not for 4 hours.
I have a feeling his teammates. I think his teammates are annoyed by him too. What is he doing? Like every time he takes a knee bend, he goes Broncos country, and then he gets up and he goes, "Let's ride, Broncos country, let's ride," and he just does it the whole way down the aisle. Like that would be annoying.
4 hours.
It's possible that he did that.
4 hours is weird.
It's believable.
Yeah.
Hoge's had enough.
I don't care who it is. If I'm on any plane and somebody's working out in the aisle for 4 hours, I'm mad.
Agreed.
I mean, you gotta have those.
Let's
You
all get up.
gotta have the nice headphones that are noise canceling. Preferably a window seat if you're one of the smarter people.
When CHGO goes to, I don't know.
Where are we going?
Let's go. Why don't we go this
To
coming
Phoenix
summer
in February for the Super Bowl against Bill Belichick and the Patriots.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
What about let's just do London and go to Wimbledon for a tennis match. Flannigan's in. He loves tennis.
Oh.
And
Okay.
we'll all just
Oh, good. Was that July prime boat season before training camp starts?
and-
I ain't going to Wimbledon.
You're
Sound
going
like-
to Wimbledon.
That
if you
sounds
get
like
that
something
invite.
Russell Wilson would say. Hoge, I'm just saying.
No, Russell would be like, I get my full workout
Yeah,
on
you're
the
right.
boat.
You're
we
right.
had a
Everyone else is having fun. I'm working
everybody was
out.
in the water drinking.
That's right.
I was on the bow
You're right.
doing yoga.
That's
All right, we got
Don't
Cubs
be that
coming
guy.
Up.
Don't be like that's
Yeah.
the Russell Wilson thing. Like,
That's
right.
I
don't
got
be that
Cubs.
guy.
Don't be that guy. We got to go, by the way.
Cubs. Go hit like, subscribe, please. Go to the CHGOlocker.com and buy that cool new shirt or the crew neck.
One more thing. I know
Tailgate coming.
I apologize. The newsletter didn't go out early this morning. I had to do it the short week. We were still finishing up tape and stuff. It should be in your inbox very, very soon if it's not already. So if you're wondering about that, allchgo.com to sign up for the Bears Things newsletter. Thank you.
Chat, you were awesome today. I'm going to go walk around in my fuchsia shirt. Thank you very much.
Bear down.
Bears.